This skill or hobby that you take on can become very expensive if you let it. I'm just here to let you know that it doesn't have to be expensive. You can buy the minimal amount of supplies to start sewing or to carry on your skill or your hobby. But today I'm here to list all of the things you didn't know you needed in your sewing space. Now, these things that I'm about to list are things that you do not need to sew. You don't need these things. But if you have these things, it can make your sewing experience that much better. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. If you're new to the channel, my name is Michelle. I do all things sewing over here. Sewing vlogs, sewing tutorials, everything sewing. So if that's your vibe, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. So this is a list of 5 things I did not know I needed in my sewing space. Once I bought them, I'm like, okay, yes, I did need this, but I didn't need it. It's things that you necessarily do not need, but once you have it in your sewing space and you start to use them, it just makes your world a better place. So the first thing you didn't know you needed in your sewing space is a pair of pinking shears. Now, I remember when I was young, my mom had 2 pairs of pinking shears, and I used to always play with them. I used to always cut out paper with them and make decorative edges on paper and construction paper. And I just thought it was a fun pair of scissors. So it's just like a regular pair of scissors. It cuts through paper, it cuts through fabric, but the unique thing about it is that it has a zigzag edge, and this edge makes a zigzag design on whatever you cut out. So mostly this is used to cut through fabric on the edge of your fabric so it can stop fraying. If you just cut through fabric with a regular pair of scissors, over time, the edge of that fabric will start to fray. It'll start to tear apart on you. If you're sewing together a garment and you just leave that straight edge of your seam allowance, if you just leave that as a straight edge without putting a zigzag sewing stitch on it or cutting it with your pinking shears, it will start to fray over time, and that can ruin anything that you sew. It can ruin your garment, it can ruin a bag, it can ruin anything. So with the pinking shears, what it does, it leaves a zigzag edge on your fabric, and that will stop the fraying on your fabric. I do have a pair of pinking shears, and I use this mainly on pockets when I create pockets for an outerwear piece or anything that requires pockets. Sometimes I'll use my serger for the pockets, but most of the time I'll use my pinking shears. Or I'll use my pinking shears on anything that has multiple layers of fabric. So for instance, if I'm making a bag that requires multiple layers of denim, that's something that I do not want to run through my serger because it can possibly break or jam or break a needle on my serger. So what I'll do is use my pinking shears to cut that edge of those multiple layers. Then that will minimize any fraying on that bag or anything that I'm making. This is something that I didn't know I needed in my space, but I use it to this day. The second thing I didn't know I needed for my sewing space is a mallet. Now, it's not necessary to buy a mallet. You can always use a hammer for your project, but it's always best to put like a cushion in between your hammer and your good fabric to hammer down certain things. Years ago, I used to use a hammer, but I was just so tired of using my hammer, which I use throughout my house for hammering nails and hanging up wall art. I was just tired of using a hammer, so I bought a mallet. Now, a mallet is good to have because it is coated with this rubber coating, and it just gives a soft touch to whatever you want to hammer down. Now, I use my mallet when I'm bag making, if I want to install a grommet or rivets, or when I come across bulky fabric that I have to sew over. I'll bring that to my cutting station first to hammer it down some so it can condense, and then I can run it through my sewing machine. So a mallet is always good to have. It's not necessary to have in your sewing space, but it is good to have. The next thing I didn't know I needed was a thread cutter. The last bulk order I had to complete was, I think it was 60 book sacks. And I can't remember whether it was on the YouTube video that I posted or the Instagram reel, but someone posted that a thread cutter would make my life so much easier, especially with the bulk orders that I complete. So when she mentioned that, I looked it up and I was like, okay, yes, I do need that. I didn't know I needed it, but when she mentioned it, I got it immediately. It's just a little tool and it has blades in between these little leaves. I guess it's leaves. There's little blades in between these areas here, and I can take this off and flip it because I guess it gets dull over time. But these blades help you cut thread so easily. Instead of using snippers to cut through lots of thread, especially when you're doing bulk orders or even quilting, I believe a lot of quilters use this thread cutter. But she had mentioned with my bulk orders, this will come in handy and will help me a lot to get through all of my bulk orders. With bulk orders, it's best to do assembly lines for everything that you have to sew together. So for instance, if I'm making pockets with a certain bag, I will just work on the pockets first and then work on the next step. But with those pockets, you just sew in all of the pockets. After you sew your last pocket, you have to cut the thread through each pocket. This thread cutter comes in handy when you have to chop off the thread in between all of those pockets. I can't wait to use this tool when I'm working on my next bulk order that's coming really soon. I'm so excited to work with this little tool. Alright, this is just a reminder that all of these items that I'm listing will be linked below, and it'll also be in my Amazon storefront. Alright, the next item I didn't know I needed is all types of paper. So I have 3 different types of paper here, and I'm going to go through all of them with y'all. So the first paper is like transparent paper. I use this paper for all of the patterns that I work with. Any sewing pattern that you buy, you will have multiple sizes on the pattern once you put it together. So if you need a size large, that original pattern, you have to trace out your size that you need. So in order to do that, you need to use transparent paper. You just put this on top of the original pattern, the size that you need, just trace it onto the transparent paper. When I first started buying sewing patterns and started to fool with clothes like tops and pants, I learned that I need transparent paper. So this is something that I always keep on deck, especially if I want to transfer a size onto this paper. If you're just sewing for yourself, you can always just buy a pattern and cut out the size that you need. But I would suggest just buying transparent paper and just reuse the original sewing pattern. At the beginning of my sewing journey, I didn't know I needed transparent paper, but now that I got it, I use it all the time. I depend on transparent paper. This paper is not durable. It's really lightweight and it can get really wrinkled and crinkly over time, and it can tear easily. What I would do is transfer the size onto my transparent paper, and then I would transfer this size onto craft paper so I can have this as the permanent pattern. This lightweight craft paper gets wrinkly as well, so I started researching for like a thicker heavyweight craft paper. So what I do is buy this big roll from Home Depot or Lowe's. This is mainly used for home projects, so any contractors, any painters who are working on houses, they put this on floors so they don't ruin the floors from any construction on houses, or if they are painting walls. This is some thick craft paper that they use. I feel like this is a great option for transferring your pattern and having it as a permanent pattern for any size that you cut out. It's a good heavyweight craft paper and you get a lot for your money. Just go to your local hardware store in the painting section and look for this paper. Alright, we're down to the last item that you didn't know you needed, but I do have a bonus after this one. The last thing you don't necessarily need, but it is helpful to have, is a rivet or grommet press. Now, I've been eyeing this for a long time because it is a little bit of an investment. I would call it an investment. You can get one for about $60. and I think they even go up to like $120. This is good to have in your space, especially if you're into bag making and installing a lot of rivets or grommets. This will make your life so much easier. Now, there are cheaper tools out there that you can buy instead of a press. They do have the handheld press that you can use, but I feel like that can hurt your hand over time, or if you're using it to press multiple layers of fabric. This is where the press comes in handy if you're using it for bag making and you're trying to press through multiple layers of fabric. You can also buy the little tools that come in kits. If you buy a kit of rivets, it'll come with a hammer and a cutting tool that you can hammer into your garment. If you want to get into bag making, or you want to use rivets or grommets on multiple layers of fabric, it is best to get a heavy duty press, because this will make your life so much easier. Here's a bag that I made about 2 or 3 months ago. I see why you need this thing for things like this. It made my life so much easier. I had to use the press on this handle part here and the base that I had to install onto this flap. Since I had to install rivets on this strap that's 8 layers of denim, it was best for me to use this press. I don't believe I would be able to put the rivets on this type of strap with a handheld press or the rivet tools that come in the kit. So I feel like this was one of the best investments for my sewing space. Okay, here's the bonus item. I wasn't going to add this to the list, but it kind of goes hand in hand with the rivet and grommet press. This is to punch holes into the garment or whatever bag that you're making. Just like I said, if you're getting deep into bag making and you want to punch a hole through multiple layers, it is best to get a hole puncher that has different settings for all of the different sizes. I'm so glad that I purchased this before I got into making this bag collection that came out about 2 months ago, because this really made my life so much easier. Just punching the holes through all of those layers of fabric. Once I get my rivet on, I just bring it to my press and then press it down. It's quick, it's easy, and it's really efficient. All right, that's my top 5 or top 6 items that you don't necessarily need for your sewing space, but it will help you get through your sewing projects that much easier. Did I miss any items that you currently use that you didn't know that you needed? Just let me know in the comments and we can have a discussion about it. Okay, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.